We didn't introduce ourselves, but I'm Faith, and I'll be conducting this interview. And yeah, is there any questions before we start?
No, we're ready for you. I'm Winter, by the way, and
Yeah,
then
and I'm Jennifer.
Perfect. So I will just ask you to introduce yourself to whoever's watching this, your roles and your names, of course.
so I am Winter Gilroy. I am the principal here at Ecole St. Joseph School in Whitecourt of a 7 to 12 school, and then I'm also our principal of our Across the Waters outreach.
And I'm Jennifer Key. I am the assistant principal of Ecole St. Joseph School, and I'm also a social studies teacher as well at the school.
Lovely. All right. So, hello, my name is Faith. I'm here to interview you two about the work JAM Educational Consulting has done with you as a new administrative team in your school. Firstly, I would like to ask why your district decided to hire JAM Educational Consulting to work with you, and if you could please go into some detail of the overall work this consulting firm has done to support you this year.
So our school division and Living Water Senior Administration really advocated for myself and for new as a new administrative team to have an outside perspective and that support to be able to help us as to be able to develop as leaders ourselves, but then to also help us develop our leadership within our building and support our school in moving forward with our school culture. And our school division really recognized that we'd have some hurdles. So Jen is new to our school district and to our school, as well as new to at the administration role. So it was very important for our school division to make sure that they set up that mentorship and that support for us.
Okay, the next question. Within your respective roles, how has working with JAM Educational Consulting impacted your school leadership?
So for me, specifically as an assistant principal, I think it really helped that I was able to ask questions without any sort of judgment. And the advice that we received or that I received was really honest and consistent and valuable. Um, I was really nervous at the beginning of the year, and I didn't know where like I fit within the school division or the school, or even if I was going to be able to be a good assistant principal and like what all of that entailed. So I was able to grow as a leader while navigating all of those things. Um, as well, Jam's perspective of our school and our leadership team and our leadership styles allowed Winter and I to grow and adapt our vision together and probably helped us determine our direction a little bit. So the questions that they asked us and the resources and advice that they gave us um, pushed us to become very close very quickly so that we could move the school forward. And then, of course, Rita and Shan are very compassionate individuals, but they're also very honest and frank. And so those conversations that we had allowed me to assess my personal leadership style and remind me of the type of leader that I want to be. Um, and so through with their guidance, I was able to navigate a few difficult situations. And because the conversations that we had with them and the advice that they gave me allowed me to like it just came down to what was best for our students in our school. So I think Rita and Sean really helped me find my voice and help build my confidence as a leader because their willingness to compliment us first and foremost, but also provide constructive feedback allowed me to reflect on who I am as a leader.
And then for myself, I really found in working with Rita and Shan, specifically my role as a principal, I think the most valuable impact that I took from it was that outside perspective and the analysis of our current kind of structures and our school culture. And through this lens, Rita and Shan, they were able to help provide that direction. They were able to provide resources that were applicable to our school context. Really, it was like kind of like the best bang for our time in supporting us in really shifting our school culture. Through that support, they also supported me as a leader to be able to come up with clear and measurable goals and plans of action that could be implemented immediately. It wasn't a make work project. It was, okay, you're going to take this and run. And that was one thing I really liked, that we could just put it into practice. And I also really appreciated that they would check in and follow up with how things were going to be able to support us in any way. So anytime that there were questions, they were always available. And they also provided that ongoing feedback and suggestions that really complemented our ideas to build upon us as a leader, as they truly believe in the importance of school leaders having that professional autonomy within their own building. So it wasn't JAM coming in and saying, you must do this, this, and this. It was, let's look at your current situation. Let's look at your current context. And okay, where do you want to go? How could we get there? And a lot of it was through that conversation that we were able to move to where we are right now within our school.
That's amazing. Thank you so much for your answers. Um, and you've both already spoke to the kind of extra questions within this question, but I'll still ask if there's anything else you wanted to add about how did you find that this support was structured, and how did these impacts affect your school's culture in both the staff and students?
The structure was really great for us because we had like the predetermined meetings that we organized through conversations. So Rita and Sean recognized that we were super busy and just trying to keep afloat. So we knew what day they were coming, we knew what time they were coming, so we could plan for that. And they always came with a list of topics to discuss. So it wasn't, I never once felt that our time was wasted. And then we were really, really lucky because if Winter and I had some questions that we needed some clarification or just some advice, we had a few impromptu meetings, and Rita and Chen were also always accessible through email and very quick to respond to us. We were driving in the car one day and Winter sent them a message, and I think it was like 3.5 minutes before we got a response. So that was really nice because we could continue that conversation with each other as we were working. And all of the advice that they gave us was based on research and data, and it was really focused on that research and data so that we could build that in our own kind of ideas of where we wanted to move with the school.
Yeah, and I think in looking at how the impact that they had on our school leadership affecting the school culture, our staff, and our students, we've really had a huge shift forward in our building. When you look at our school culture, if you were to enter our building in September and then step into our building now, you honestly would never believe that it's the same building, whether it be through just the feeling when you walk in or through your interactions with the staff and the students. They really helped us in creating a focused action plan within our building that focused on that school culture, which was focused on student and staff voice, rather than just that direction that was decided upon administration alone. And this really helped us create that school culture that was centered on collaboration, community, really looking at that collective efficacy within our building, that every member of our school had a voice and that they were heard. And I can truly say, like within Cole St. Joseph's School, we do the work together as a school community, and we truly believe that was a result of the work that we did with JAM. And we really found that their mentorship too helped us as leaders find our voices and confidence, so we could have difficult conversations. And this is something that really immediately shifted our school culture in that positive direction, because we became that strong and cohesive team, and we really kind of became firm that everything we were doing was for students. And I think through instilling that confidence and helping us find our voice, is we were able to then actually have those conversations, like we said, those difficult ones, and say, okay, no, actually, this is what we stand for. This is our why. And I truly believe it's through the conversations with them. And yeah, they also helped us to develop a new mantra within our staff, and really, so our staff had ownership and pride in creating it. So we actually ended up creating one, our staff did, and it was learning today, leading tomorrow, and living in faith. And then the neat thing with that is Rita and Shan then helped us take that next forward, or that next step forward, is, okay, what does that actually look like, sound like, and feel like within our building?
That's amazing. Thank you so much. And Jennifer, you spoke about, research, data. Would you say that, if you were to go and read a bunch of books about all of the information that Shannon and Rita have given you, how different does it look to do that research yourself versus actually having these kinds of experts that you can talk to and have conversations with?
That's actually funny that you asked that question, because one of the emails we sent to Rita and Chan was for a list of books about collaboration, because we were trying to trying to figure it out for ourselves, like where could we find the best resources to teach ourselves about collaboration so we could bring that back to our staff. And it was really overwhelming when we looked online. And then within 10 minutes, Rita and Shan had provided us with a list of, I think there was like 10 different resources that we could easily access on that specific topic. So for me, I felt very overwhelmed all year, but just being able to pull on the resources that they offered to us and provided to us made it a lot easier because I knew that they were willing to just do that little bit of work for me so that I could find the good stuff instead of sinking and drowning in the internet and trying to find resources for myself.
Um, Next question. How has JAM Consulting supported your growth in instructional leadership? How has this development impacted student success?
Okay. So for this one, we really found that Rita and Shan focused our discussions and conversations around that research-based, whether it be like the theories or just educational researchers, evidence-based strategies. And with this, it really prompted us as an admin team to look at our specific data within our building to really begin to evaluate, okay, what is our current context and situation? And then with that, we were then able to identify, okay, how are we going to now move forward and kind of create our plan of action? One main area of focus with this was really supporting us through within our division. We use instructional sprints. And this is something that we had a really hard time with our staff because there was a lot of pushback and like not the willingness to like take it on and jump in. So they really helped us in looking, okay, how could we support our teachers in understanding the importance of, being reflective in our instructional practice to support all students. So it all still connected back to our why and why we were here. We also find too that Rita and Shan really helped us to better understand our staff, really looking at, okay, what motivates them, and how can we leverage that within our building. And this really helped us to be able to work more effectively with our staff. And then for myself and Jen to be able to then build stronger relationships because we truly knew or were able to understand our people and who they were, kind of what their love language was. And they also helped us work through our ideas. So they were always asking questions that made us really think about the why we wanted to do something, really looking, okay, what is your purpose? What was your end goal? And it always came back to that. And that was kind of the nice thing is we come forward with some ideas, some things that we thought about, but then they would help us take it a step further and go a little bit deeper. And then I think one of the biggest things is it's really apparent when working with Rita and Shan that students always come first. And that's something for myself and Jen as leaders is we truly believe in as well. I don't know if you'd be in education if you didn't, but really just making sure that all decisions and discussions that we're making or having are always with the students at the center. And that's where, like as I mentioned earlier, really helped instill that confidence in us to be able to handle those difficult situations. And I can confidently say that we really no longer veer away from some of those difficult conversations because we know at the end of the day, we're going back to our why and it's putting our students first. And that's something that Rita and Shan really helped us with to be able to really bring that forward and be confident.
And are there any aspects of your work with JAM Consulting you feel are of note that we haven't discussed yet, or you feel like you have the opportunity to mention?
For me, I felt supported as not only as a school leader, but as a person as well. I think Rita and Shannon, it's really clear that not only do they care about like Ecole St. Joseph's School, they really care about moving that forward and the students that are here and our staff that are here, but they also care about me as a person. Um, and I really felt like they had a strong desire for me to succeed and to grow. And that like the questions that they would ask allowed me to reflect on things that were really hard for me. Um, and then I could return to like the conversations that when Winter and I were having conversations, or I was having a hard conversation with somebody in the building, I could return to how Rita and Shan taught me that I am capable and that I'm able to do things. So they helped me develop strength. Um, and they help me hone in on what my why is and why I'm here and why I want to do this work and why I truly believe it so I can state it with confidence and clarity.
And one thing I really want to stress is kind of, and Jen touched on it, is how Rita and Shan, they look at you as a leader and they really make you feel appreciated. They notice the hard work that is happening within our buildings. And it's so funny because even though like they're only here for such a short period of time, the pulse that they can gauge on your building is absolutely unbelievable. And that's where that outside perspective really helps you grow. And I really appreciate the hard questions that they'd ask. They'd always push you, you know, to think outside of the box, but they always did it in a way that was supportive and to help you grow as a leader. And I also really appreciated the fact that they would take some of our most like challenging moments and challenging conversations or whatever it might be, but to really turn them into a learning opportunity and that opportunity to move forward and to be able to improve, whether it be as a leader or even how can we continue to move the school forward. And these often kind of became our areas of focus and really helped drive the change within our building.
That's amazing. It's, yeah, that kind of personal touch that they add to the consulting seems to really have impacted you guys. Yeah.
Even
And
though on the
finally,
first day before they came, we were extremely nervous. We didn't know what to wear. I messaged Jen that morning. She's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what we're going to wear today. Rita and Shan are coming. We don't know who they are. We were very intimidated by Rita and Shan. And then when they walked in the door, before they even honestly spoke, you could tell we just kind of naturally
Yeah.
just settled. Like they have that presence. Like you know that they come in meaning business. Like they had their little name tags and those pieces. But like what Jen said, they truly are here to help. And honestly, it's almost like St. Joe's was their own school too. Like that's how much care they truly
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
yeah, and I think that that's a very unique and special quality about this company for sure. Um, and finally, would you recommend Jam Consulting to other schools and districts? And if yes, if you could just, kind of state one simple main reason for doing so, that'd be great.
I think, yeah, 100% we would absolutely recommend them. I'm personally a little bit sad that we might not get to work with them next year. But I think because Rita and Shannon are super compassionate and they're very knowledgeable and they have the best interests of students in Alberta in mind. It's not just kids in one school, it's kids in all schools that matter to them. And they're going to ask difficult questions that are going to drive your school forward, but they're also going to empower you to make positive and significant changes as a leader.
And for you, Winter, do you have anything to add to that?
No, I think exactly what Jen said. It was they truly, truly care about the students. And really just as a leader, I think just that empowering you to not forget that and to kind of go back to what your why and your
Mhm.
purpose. And it's not let's pick up everything and change. It's okay, let's look at some of these areas that we really need to focus in on. Let's move that forward and then we'll tackle the next. So it's not overwhelming at all. It's completely doable and manageable.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for your time and your feedback. We really appreciate it.